Hello there guys, it's me Unstable Voltage and welcome to episode 6 of Civilization Beyond Earth. Currently trying to wipe out an alien nest over here on the northwest of the map. Taking a little bit of damage to my marine. I'm desperately trying to keep him alive because he is actually level 3 now and has a couple of veterancies. I'm using my gunners to try and clear out the nest. Hopefully they will be able to survive any direct attack. I may have to withdraw and let everybody heal up, so I do have to be careful, especially when the alien is actually in my asthma, because I believe that does actually heal it up, so we do have to be careful there. We still have this siege worm that is wreaking havoc quite close to our worker. We should be okay though, because we have the ultrasonic fence, and we took a quest decision that gives it a repel range of 3 tiles, so it should actually stop that worm from getting in. At least I'm really hoping that's the case, otherwise we're potentially going to lose our worker here. Certainly doesn't appear to have moved in, nor have we been attacked by any aliens, which is good, although there's an awful lot of aliens around, which worries me a little bit. So what I'm going to do is get these guys to just fortify and heal up. We need to try and clear out the nest if we can, because I really want to get around there and try and pick up that resource pod. For some reason, resource pod's not being shown on the map. Did I have it ticked? Yes, I do. Okay. Let's go on to the next turn then. Obviously, if the alien comes to me, I don't really want them to run face first into my ranged units because they are a little bit squishy, but my marine's half dead, so I can't put them at the front right now. These guys are on the nest. We really need to start trying to weaken these things down. So let's go ahead and start firing at them with the gunners. One thing that I don't know with combat experience is if it works like Barbarians in Civilization 5, where there's actually a cap to the amount of XP you can get. I guess that is something that we can probably find out in the Civilopedia. If we just look for combat XP could not be found. Can we find XP? No. Can we find experience? Experience points and promotions. Experience points limitations. A unit gains experience points for surviving a round of combat. The unit does not have to win combat or destroy the enemy to get the experience. It occurs each round that the unit lives through. The amount of XPs the unit gets depends on the circumstances of the combat. Generally, units get more XPs for attacking than defending, and more for engaging in melee combat than other types. Here are some examples. Alien limitations. Once a unit has gotten 30 XPs, it no longer gets any XPs for fighting alien lifeforms. So yeah, it works exactly the same way that it does with Barbarians in Civilization 5, is that once you get your XP up to 30, you cannot actually gain any more XP, like this unit here. So this unit has got to level 3, it's now at 30 of 60, and it can't get any more. So you can never get beyond level 3.5 from killing aliens. Well, at least I know, so there's no point just standing around farming aliens. So she now wants open borders with it. I don't mind that too much. I can't really see it being a problem, though I don't really know if we need to have open borders, but we are friends, so let us have the open borders and just see what happens till she starts coming and trying to nick my stuff. Now, there is no religion in Beyond Earth, and there's no religion equivalent, so at least we shouldn't have any problems with the AI trying to send lots of missionaries and great prophets in to try and convert my cities, so I'm not going to worry about that. Let's keep trying to take out some of these wolf beetles where we can. We get to choose a new production. I definitely think that it is time now to go and get that, well, I would have said colonist, but then looking at it, we're actually quite low on health. So let's go and get that farm lab, which I think we're going to need before we can start a new city. We have another trade convoy, so you're going to go to Fort Barker, or Fort Barca, and that will give us some additional production and some additional energy. It is a little bit strict. Oh, we need to complete the trade route with Lalibela for it to become tier 2. That's fine. I'm sure we will. I believe a trade route on standard pace only lasts 25 turns in Beyond Earth compared to the 30 turns that it would have lasted in Civilization 5. Should be able to finish off that wolf beetle. Certainly not helping matters out much because the alien nest is still there, and we can develop a virtue. So what do we do with this? Do we actually go into knowledge? I think we put it into that creative class. Each culture equal to, earn culture equal to 30% of net of positive health. Now, we don't have all that much positive health but it will actually give us plus 10 culture in every city for having an extra point in knowledge, and we will also get a free virtue from this. So let's go ahead and do that. So now we get a free virtue. Where do we spend that one? Anything here that gives us an immediate boost on happiness would be really nice. 15% production towards wonders, that's not bad, although I don't believe we have any wonders unlocked right now. Nothing particularly along these lines that I can see that gives us a sort of instant boost to health. Public security is probably the first one where we could potentially get that, which would mean spending 3 virtues in might, which is not necessarily a bad idea. Or we could start going down this tree. Certainly we could get community medicine. Plus 1 health for every 6 population, which isn't great. But that would mean we'd be taking cohesive virtues, which would be really nice anyway. Minus 10% culture needed for new virtues. So let's go ahead and take that one while we can. So I'm quite liking the science tree. Although, again, it's not designed like Civilization 5. You shouldn't really be spending it all in one tree. So we will probably start mixing it up a little bit. Let's go on to the next turn. See how many more nasty aliens get thrown at us from this nest. At least the siege worm hasn't attacked. Do I start trying to move in with my gunner? Very risky because there's a lot of alien units around, as we can see right there. Not sure how easy it is to actually take a nest out, so I'm actually going to back off. I was just going forwards there for a bit of vision. Also, I'd be ending the turn in miasma, which isn't exactly a great idea. So let's go on to the next turn. Our marines are healing up a little bit. We will have to send those in. Okay, guys, what do you see now? There is still an alien unit there. It is quite damaged. Let's actually move on to the nest. We've destroyed an alien nest. So we've destroyed a teeming alien nest and recovered 25 energy from it. Now, there is still a possibility that alien nests will respawn. Because, like I said, the aliens are a big problem all the way through the game. Now that we've got rid of that alien nest, there's actually xenomass here, and there's 8 xenomass compared to something like 3 or 4 xenomass that you would get from a normal deposit. So 2 xenomass, 3 xenomass. So if you take out an alien nest, you get an awful lot of xenomass. I do want to try and keep these guys safe, but at the same time, I also want to try and go over there and nab that resource pod if we can. So let's just hope they survive. This worker has now finished the generator, and luckily it didn't get ripped apart by that worm. Getting the recommendation of a mine over here for some extra production. Again, not a bad idea. We're at size 7. We've got a couple of sort of citizens that we could move around and potentially do something. Again, though, I think the AI has chosen the most logical tiles to work. Although if we were willing to drop the 1 production, we could... 1 production and 1 energy, we could actually get double food here and grow a little bit quicker. 15 turns to a new citizen doesn't seem like too much of a bad idea. Although, again, health still isn't fantastic. Just noticed, of course, we do have our focus up here. Now, how do we change the actual focus? Is there a way to do that? Is there a button for it? What is that? Reset to use the default citizen allocation, but there doesn't appear to be any way to just tell it to focus on gold or focus on production or focus on science or anything like that, which is a little bit strange. I can't seem to change the focus there. Okay, well, that's fine. I mean, that's not something that I use all that much anyway. I do prefer to either micromanage it or leave it completely autonomous. I don't really see the point in having the middle ground, so we'll carry on as is. Trade unit destroyed. Okay, so we've actually lost a trade unit from aliens, which is probably this one down here at Fort Barca, which is a little bit annoying. There's probably an alien nest down there that we haven't found that we really need to go and wipe out. We do have a lot of aliens over here. We need to be careful. We wouldn't do an awful lot of damage if we tried to attack that raptor bug. Let's go over here, though, because I really want the resource pod. Inside the resource pod, you found a basic satellite still intact and enough rocket fuel for it to reach escape velocity. A free solar collector is now ready for launch at the city of Megan. So is a free solar collector. What is a free solar collector and what does it do? So the orbital unit gives me +1 energy on tiles you own. Any city in range also receives 20% energy overall. So it basically is going to give us a little bit of extra gold. I'm fine with that. Let's launch it and let us pop it over some of the tiles that we are working. Not sure which would give it the most tiles, but make sure the city's in range, so probably just put it right over the city. Seems like the best idea. It was a freebie anyway, so it's not exactly going to be a waste whatever we decide to do with it. And that is going to increase our gold income a little bit for a few turns. Trade unit has been destroyed. Yep, as expected. We could go down there and deal with those. More importantly, we do need to try and get these aliens wiped out. What I may do is leave these guys alone and actually start to withdraw and see if there's an alien nest over on the other side that we can sort out. So we'll probably leave those guys where they are. But we'll just start bringing them back out of this alien nest. Take them back down here to the southeast. See if there's an alien nest around here. We did have a brief look. Didn't spot one. There's a lot of miasma, though, which is a little bit of a pain. I think the trade routes are safe from miasma. I don't think that is what took it out. It must have been attacked by an alien unit. So we've now discovered computing. Just wanted to quickly close out of that because it looked like we were about to be attacked, or we were being attacked by the aliens, so I wasn't too impressed with that. Let's just move everybody to as safety as we can. We are going to have to cut through the miasma, which is a bit of a pain. You're going to go ahead and build that mine. Quest has been updated. So recent advances in computer technology have laid the foundations for a sophisticated surveillance and covert operations organisation, provided there is a way to train covert agents. So we need to build a spy agency in order to use covert operations. That is something that we are definitely going to do. But before we build the spy agency, I think what we would like to do is get a colonist. We've put this off for far too long. Let's go ahead and build one of those. Going to take 10 turns, and now we get to pick another science. And I have absolutely no idea where I'd like to put my next points of research. So let's have a quick look around and see what we've got. We certainly could go for alien life forms, which would give us a little bit of extra culture. We could go into genetic design. That would allow us to build a gene garden, which would give us some... that actually requires level 2 impurity, so we won't be able to build the gene garden. We could build a cloning plant, which would give us +2 food, +1 production from xenomass, and 1 grower specialist slots. Requires a workable, improved source of xenomass. And we could also get the ectogenesis pod. All farms produce 1 food, and it gives us +3 food and +3 production. That's not a terribly bad idea. I've got a feeling that it might be worth going into chemistry. We'd get laboratories from that, we'd get recycling centres, so additional science, additional production, and it would reveal petroleum on the map as well as a petroleum well. Or we could go into engineering and get the combat rover, and we could get the thorium reactor and the repair facility, and that would reveal titanium on the map. It's 7 turns for either of them, and I think what we are probably going to do at this point, just having a quick look and see what we can get. There's a lot of nice stuff that we could potentially build. Our military advisor is suggesting we go for engineering, so let us go ahead and assume that that is probably a reasonably good idea. So let's go on to the next turn. I'm not going to rebuild that trade route right away because there's no point. If I rebuild it, it'll most likely just get attacked by aliens and we'll lose it anyway. So there really isn't an awful lot of point in doing that. So I'm just going to bring this unit back. And I know that I'm moving him on to Xenomass, but I'm going to bring him back into our borders, heal them up, and then go out in the other direction to go and see what we've got down there that's been taking out our trade routes. So, yeah, you guys just work down here. You guys get out of the way. Let's get back where it's safe. You've got a couple of upgrades on both of you, so really don't want to risk losing you over something silly. Keep moving. Obviously, you've got to move over the river, so that's going to use a little bit more of your movement. I guess you guys can actually come down this way. It's assuming that giant siege worm's gone, because we really don't want that. Cooperation agreement has expired. Your cooperation agreement with the... what's that? The Cavian Protectorate has run its course and will need to be renewed. We could go ahead and do that, though. Annoyed that it still won't let me actually go to diplomacy from this pop-up. I have to go into the actual diplomacy screen. Let's go back in there. Let us discuss. Shall we establish a cooperation agreement? It is basically just a declaration of friendship under a different name. I think during the production they were certainly making it sound like it was something new and different, but no, it is just a declaration of friendship, basically. Although I do believe under a declaration of friendship, or in this case the cooperation agreement, that if you go to war they do actually get dragged in. So I'm not 100% sure how that works. That is something I will have to have a look up. We've discovered step mining anyway, which is a station that will provide us plus 4 production. So that would be quite nice. And where are they located, actually? If they're quite close by and they're easier to reach without going through all of the nasty alien places. Not too sure what I just clicked on there. Hopefully I just didn't mess anything up. I'll step mining. They're actually miles away, so I don't really think we can do anything about that. What did I click on? What did I do? What did I break? Right, you guys just get back to the front. You guys just hope and pray that that siege worm has disappeared. On to the next turn. I know that siege worm's just going to appear now and just completely wreck these troops. But you guys just heal up. And on to the next turn. Well, that trade route hasn't been attacked yet. So I assume that that worm probably has disappeared off. You guys also heal up and then you can all move together. The mine is finished. I guess going there and building another mine isn't a terrible idea. We probably need to start getting rid of some of this miasma as well. Now, was that something that was in the affinity? Or was it something... You see, it might not be worth cleaning up all of the miasma, because if we actually go for the harmony affinity and you work your way up the tree, currently, when we get to 3 in harmony, our units take 5 hit points less damage from miasma. Currently they take 10, so they'll only be taking 5. If we get our harmony up to level 6, our units actually heal 5 hit points in miasma. So, in one sense, leaving the miasma on the map is actually beneficial to us. Not now, but it certainly would be later on. However, we really would like to be able to work these tiles, so we probably will have to clean that miasma up, which is most likely going to be a tech. Now, I can't remember what it was, but I certainly did see a tech somewhere that allowed us to clean up the miasma, and now I cannot remember what or where it was. Let's just have a quick look. Right, it's actually this leaf tech, clear miasma, and it gives us a little bit more to harmony affinity, and gives worker miasma immunity. I think we certainly need to queue that one up after engineering's finished anyway. Engineering, which was originally being recommended by our military advisors, now also being recommended by our economic advisors, so I think it was definitely the right choice to go for. You guys have healed up, so you can just fortify for a turn. Let us go on to the next turn. Still haven't quite managed to heal that marine up yet.
Instruct the children not to dream of toys or sweets. Instruct them to dream of infrastructure. So
now we have engineering. We can build the combat rover. We can also build the thorium reactor, which would give us a little bit of extra energy and a few specialist slots. We can build the repair facility, which would give us 10% production for building land units, and it reveals titanium on the map. Do we have any titanium anywhere nearby? This is a civilization game, so I'm going to guess no. Yep, there is one over here. Oh, 2 over here. That's not too bad. It's not in range of our city. One thing we also need to consider, of course, is where we're actually going to build our new city. We haven't actually decided. It might be worth getting one over here somewhere, because we could get some of these things here. We've got fungus, we've got resin, we've got titanium, we've got the chitin, we've got xenomass, we've got floatstone. Sticking one here right on the edge of the river might not be a terrible idea. I think that is an actual amazing hex right there. I think it's probably where we are going to plop our second city. So let's get this worker building the mine. Let's end the turn there. Now, the way that cities are built in this game, again, is a little bit different to Civilization 5. Unlike Civ 5, where you have a settler which you just pop and they become an instant city on turn 1, a colonist actually builds an outpost, and the outpost is just basically a single tile, and it doesn't really do an awful lot, and it takes time. You have to nurture it. It has to be able to grow from an outpost into an actual city, so it will take a little bit of time before it is able to become a fully functioning city. May need to build a unit to escort it, so it may be worth building a combat rover. Certainly, as we can do that now, the combat rover will be able to catch up quite quickly, so it's not a terrible idea. Let's keep moving down and making sure there's no aliens in this direction. Combat rover is basically a mobile... Not sure whether it's a melee unit or whether it is a ranged unit. I will have to check that up, but it's basically a cavalry unit. It's the tier 1 cavalry unit. quest update. We built the colonist. We now need to found one outpost. Well, that is certainly the plan. We do want to keep that colonist safe. The missile rover, so it is ranged. So it has movement of 2, which isn't great. Oh, is the missile rover the gunner? Missile rover. Now, ranged unit specialises in reducing defences. So the missile rover is the actual siege one. There's another one as well. I can't remember what it's called. Maybe we don't actually have that one. So it's not the missile rover that we want. I think what we'll probably do is build another marine. Actually, no. Let's get another gunner. Ranged units tend to be slightly better there. We also still need to build the spy agency as well. Unit needs orders. You guys are going to continue to look around here. We have found ourselves some aliens.
You can found an outpost with your colonist. Outposts eventually grow into cities. An outpost will prosper when founded in a location with plentiful food. So choose a location with food-producing resources or grassland if possible. Move your colonist to a fertile location and found an outpost.
So we certainly need to build our outpost somewhere where there's going to be a mass of food. So that tile I was looking at is probably a pretty good idea. We have just found some more of these manticores, so we do have to be careful there. We've got our colonist. I'm tempted to move my colonist over here directly. Without waiting for an escort. Now that might be risky. But I think we've cleared most of the aliens that were over there. So, again, I am taking a risk with this, but I think we will be okay. That trade convoy, you are going to re-establish with Lalibela, or Lalibela. Lalibela is now level 2, so we're getting 6 culture. And if we complete another trade route, it will get to tier 3, and it will give us 10 culture per turn. So the longer we trade with it, the more resources that we get from it, which is quite nice. Let's go on to the next turn. We may take a tiny little bit of damage on our colonist, unless we go the long way around, which I really don't want to have to do. It'll take us forever to get there should we do that. You guys are going to move into this spot. We've actually now got a Kraken. The first time we've seen one of those. It shouldn't be able to do any damage to us. Well, I'd say it shouldn't. I don't know whether it can. I don't think it can do damage to units on land. I hope it can't do damage to units on land. I guess we will find out. You guys are just going to fortify there. Let's go ahead and end the turn. Yep, the alien is attacking. It's actually a ranged unit, and it's firing at our ranged unit. Luckily, we do have a little bit of extra protection against ranged, which we picked for our upgrades. Let's start moving the colonist forward. Again, just moving a tile at a time, so we can hope... Ooh, I've just noticed here, we actually have a Slavic explorer. Hopefully he will disappear off, because that is very much the tile that I would like to get. Let's just have a quick look at the resources for these tiles. Yeah, there is quite a lot of food around there, so definitely that is the tile that I want to settle on, without a doubt. We can develop another virtue here now. So we could go for this +1 health for every 6 population. Let's go ahead and pick that. I know we only have just over 6 population, so it's only given us 1 health, but it's better than nothing. You guys are now going to attack this alien. He started it, so this is just retribution. It's a ranged unit, so it should die relatively quickly. In fact, our Marines are going to wipe that out without too much problem at all. Unfortunately, it does mean that the Marines move into miasma at the end of this turn, which is a little bit annoying, but that should be fine. And we are going to have a little bit of a look around this Fort Barca and just make sure that that is clear. But that's all I can do on this turn, so I'm going to call that the end of this video. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you are still enjoying Civilization Beyond Earth, and I'll see you next time. So until then, goodbye for now.